Alright, so I was going to go over how to do the Ollie Shuffle. The Ollie Shuffle, of course, popularized, maybe not invented, but definitely popularized by the late great Muhammad Ali, who used it to great effect earlier in his career in the 60s, before the ban, when he was champion from 64 to 67, and honestly was very hard to hit. His footwork was amazing, especially for a heavyweight. So much so that he got the shuffle named after him. But he was using it even back as an amateur. If you wanted to do a deep dive, you can check out his Olympic gold medal fight against this Polish fella, Ziggy Petrikowski. And you can see him as an 18-year-old amateur doing this little Ollie shuffle. So he'd been doing it for a long time. But basically Ali, like any decent fighter, but definitely much more so than a normal regular fighter who was more orthodox, would move a lot. He was always dancing around, always shuffling and moving. And then all of a sudden he would just be doing his normal movements, and then boom, and then he would pop you. He would just do within the flow of how he was moving, left to right to left, and then pop, 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 pop. So Ali shuffle. The question is, how do you do it? So there are a lot of YouTube clips that have, of the Ali shuffle, because he, did it in a lot of fights. It's not exactly clear from the videos mechanically how to do it. He doesn't explain it. And in fact, that's I realized that there might have been a misconception when there was a pro fighter at the gym, that like a reasonably well accomplished pro fighter, that saw me doing it and was like, "You need to do that on your toes." And I was like, "Nah, man, like I didn't want to tell, I wasn't gonna call him out, but like that's exactly how you don't do it." And the reason you don't do that is because if you try to stay on your toes the whole time, you drastically limit your range of motion. Like, this is super awkward. This is not. This is natural. And this is how you do it. And if you watch Ali and if you watch close-ups or doing it, sometimes he'll do it. He would do it in different demonstrations, press conferences, or whatever. And you watch this video, you can see this is how he's transferring his weight. So basically, what you're doing here, you've got your front leg, you're on your heel, and your back leg. This is where you're on your toe, and then all you're doing is you're just basically springing between this state here and this state here. So you're always going to have your front leg, you're going to be on your heel, back's going to be on your toes, and you're basically just bouncing between the two. And so it's actually it comes very naturally from. Just if you're moving around naturally, you can just pop, 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 and then throw your punch. And it's Ali would describe it as a great way to distract the opponent. So he would be dancing, moving, and then he'd do a shuffle. All of a sudden, they're looking down at his feet, and they're not looking at what he's doing. He lands a combination. But also, it's a great way to sort of, with some flair, change between regular stance and southpaw stance. So if you fight regular stance, you've got your left foot forward in this orientation, but a lot of guys like to switch up the southpaw occasionally, even in the middle of a round. Like Lomachenko does that a lot. And so, if you're throwing some jabs here, but then pop, pop, boom, and then you're throwing jabs again from the other side. And you just did that completely, like in the flow of things, to where, pop, pop, boom, boom, boom. Also, if you fight, from the outside, like Ali did, Sugar Ray Leonard did this a lot. They would control the ring through movement, not necessarily through, their power. And so they would be constantly going in and out, moving from side to side. And to do that, they would want to go sometimes left to right, sometimes right to left. A great way to actually just change direction is the Ali shuffle. So if I'm outside and I'm just dancing, boom. All day, and it's quite natural. And once you get the hang of it, it's one of those things where, it's easy. Everything's easy once you know how to do it. But this is definitely an example of something that's really easy once you know how to do it. And